Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Tyranny of Dragons. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have...
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
Last we left the Jank squad. The council was just about to wrap up just when Lance pointed out a suspicious creature, suspicious feller that he had eyes on the entire time. After a tense conversation with some, really half the audience either starting to draw weapons, starting to cast spells, the Harpers were the ones that de-escalated the situation to where an investigation could occur outside of the council. With the head of the Harpers believing Lance, she decided to join in on the interrogation with Onthar Froom, the suspicious character, and the rest of the Jank squad. After some clever interrogations, some clever invisibility, and a quick pickpocket from Lance, the identity, or rather the allegiance of this individual was known to be a cultist of the Cult of the Dragon. And with Fleeple entering the room at the very end, the cultist lashed out with a disintegrate spell, which thankfully was countered by Romalia, pinned down, and the disguise of this individual was dismissed to be an old villain, an old antagonist to the Jank squad, whom they didn't really remember, but Balam from the Caldera, the blue tiefling who accused them and whose life was destroyed from Fleeple and Lance. And that is where we join the Jank squad now. Fleeple, you see this pinned down, gagged, angry individual Balam. Romalia is on him, Leosin is on him, Onthar Froom is on him, and all of them are pinning him down to where he cannot cast any spells at you, as this tiefling stares daggers at you, unable to speak currently, and pinned down to the ground.
I look down at this individual who I kind of mentioned it at the end of the last episode. Fleeple was worried about a ghost coming back to haunt him from his past, and now here that ghost is. And seeing this anger and this zeal, this hatred, almost kind of reminds Fleeple of some of his own feelings that he had in some of his zeal back in the day before he started to mellow out a little bit. But still, it brings up some harsh feelings, and Fleeple's claws kind of clench up into fists, and I'm going to walk towards this tiefling on the ground before me, and I'm going to kind of kneel down to his level, and I'm going to say,
Fleeple, you say? I believe I told you to call me the Hammer.
And I'm going to bring my fist down on his broken wrist.
Oh, wow. Yeah, go ahead and, just go ahead and roll athletics check to see how much force can be applied here.
No, it's not going to be good. That's a 2 for a 1 total. That's a modded 1.
Well, his wrist is already broken, so any pressure is going to hurt. And as you smack your fist onto his broken wrist, he cries out in pain through the gag, and you see his tears start to well up in his face as he clenches his eyes closed, opens them, and just stares at you. Romalia, she says, "Careful, Fleeple, you might want to back up. We don't know what he's capable of, what he has on him. Just be wary."
And Fleeple, kind of being overcome with emotion and also wanting to have kind of a last word in the situation, is going to turn to start striding out of the room, but on the way, I'm going to kind of stop and put my hand against Onthar Froom and say,
I don't blame you, Onthar. This scum tricked the very King of Waterdeep himself.
Onthar is looking incredibly dejected and out of place and is just unsure of himself, really, as you wisely noted that, and you pat him on the arm. He goes, that he did. We'll get this sorted out. We'll get this taken care of. Don't worry. Don't you worry, Fleeple. We'll. Oh, by the gods.
And as I start walking out of the room, I would like to roll insight on Onthar's room just to be safe.
Good choice.
Go and roll
Good
an
choice.
Insight check.
It's a 22.
22. As you walk out, suspicion abounding because, holy cow, this ghost from the past has just come to haunt you. You glance back to Onthar's room when he feels nobody's looking, and he has his head cupped in his hands almost, his gauntleted hands, and he is just taking a deep breath before he looks up, sort of takes a sniff. Resolve overcomes his face, and he looks down at who he once thought was his ally, Balaam, and now determination and an intense resolve has come over his face as he goes to assist Romalia and Leosin.
So it seems like he's on the level.
Seems like he seems like he is betrayed by this betrayal, even though that's redundant.
I'm betrayed by your betrayal.
Yeah, I'm going to find kind of a secluded corner, and I'm going to pull out a jar of fig preserves and just start scooping it into my mouth.
Hey, getting the digestive tract going.
There you go, his comfort food. All right. Well, Mal, Lance, is there anything that you would like to do with Balaam, with Romalia, with Leosin, or would you like to let them handle it? Or how involved do you want to be in this interaction here?
Mal will approach Lance and just whisper, do we need to do anything? You found the spy, so should we just let them handle it? Or did you want to interrogate him anymore? You're more in that, spy world than I am, so what do you think we should do?
Well, I am concerned because he's part of our past, but at the same time, we've got pressing matters to attend to, and I don't think we'd be able to get anything more out of him that these individuals probably has a lot more experience in that regard.
And I assume he'll probably be jailed, right? So
yeah,
we could just
sure,
come talk
sure.
to him afterwards, right?
There's going to be torture.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's locked, trapped in there. I will say though, I didn't really appreciate what he tried to do to our friend there. So, Malamara, I think Balaam here owes us something. And Lance will gesture to his hand and kind of nod to Malamara's sword. Basically like, he tried to take our friend. It's time to take his hand. The hand that cast the spell.
Wow!
Wow.
Wow!
Yeah. He almost killed Fleeple. Like, that's not a small thing. If it was just us in the room, Fleeple would be dead. So Lance definitely wants retribution for that attempt.
Mal. Gotta think about the morality of this for a second.
Oh, Mal's thinking about the morality?
You murdered people
Me as a
in the
kid-
streets
no.
of Neverwinter.
Pardon, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Me as a player must think about the morality of how Mal would be feeling.
I just love this conversation. Like, we don't really need to do anything. Like, he's going to be jailed. He's going to be tortured. But we should probably chop his hand off.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, Lance hates it when people come after the people he loves, so he's willing to go to very extreme lengths to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I would definitely classify this as extreme for sure.
Mal looks to Lance and sees the resolve in his face, and knowing the conversations that they have, solemnly she just unsheathes her sword and hands it to Lance, which is the first time that sword has been out of her possession since Heir 2 put it into her hands.
I run. No, I'm joking.
Snap it over your
The dog. Oh, wow, I'm back.
I got it.
And as Lance, as you are handed this sword, it feels very cold, like unnaturally cold, more cold than a weapon should. And there's a part of you that it's repulsive almost to hold the sword. If you think about it and if you look at it, you feel this energy coming off the sword. This similar energy that you have felt as you have tiny and limitedly looked at the Demonomicon, as you've read through it, as you've pierced just the surface of it, you get that feeling coming from the sword, but it's unhindered. It is not locked. It is flowing through the sword, and you're taken aback by it, and you look to Mal, who is how she always is, and you realize that Mal must be experiencing these feelings and emotions from the sword constantly.
And Mal just gives him a solemn nod to him.
Lance will just indicate to the rest, please place his hand on the table.
Leosin and Romalia look to you quickly, and so does Balam, with an alarmed expression, and then Romalia and Leosin looking at you first with a confused expression, but Leosin getting a little bit panicky, silent panicky, and Romalia, her face going still. Lance Thalen, violence will only beget more violence, and I understand where your emotions come from. Believe me, my husband was murdered by the Cult of the Dragon. I do not take the situation lightly, but I do not believe we should act so rashly with our emotions.
I appreciate your experience. I found him out. I am owed a debt, and he came after one of my own. And I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. Please, place his hand on the table.
At this, Leosin goes, yes, but wouldn't you rather have that debt repaid another way, with some other way? And before he could even finish, Ontharr Froom picks up Balam with his two gauntleted hands with the strength you haven't seen from him yet. He jerks him off the ground and very quickly, fast-paced, walks over to the table in the room and, still holding him with the two hands, throws him onto the table with his face smacks into it, and you hear him grunt, and Ontharr almost gets on top of him and pins his knee into his back as he's extending his arm out on the table, as Onthar's face is just not fuming, but there is a righteous anger in his face right now.
Lance will nod at Ontharr, very appreciative, just like that he understands and he kind of is, that there's almost like a bond of the betrayal and all this thing, like that there is like a commonality in what they see as justice. And he'll just approach with this massive greatsword, and Lance is not a massive person, so it's a little bit awkward. But as he does that, Lance will just, as like Balam is just on the table, he'll kind of like lower his head to Balam's like side to his ear, and he'll just say, "You came after us once, and I took your throat. You come at us again, I take your hand. A third time, and you won't have a life." And he'll raise the sword and fell it.
And with this blade being supernatural, magical, as you raise the blade yourself, and Mal, you can feel it, although you don't have it as well. You feel this pleasure that almost comes from the blade itself as this act is committed. And the blade is so sharp and strong and powerful, it goes right through the table into the stonework on the ground. And Lance, you feel something stirring inside you, but before it can go any further, you quickly go back and you thrust the sword back to Mal to take it from you. This is all accompanied by Leosin and Romalia running over to Balam, healing, wrapping bandages, hiding from view what has been done, and quickly ushering Balam away out of the room before anything else can be claimed or done from the Jenks squad here, or even Ontharr Froom himself, as the Harpers realize this is an agent of the Cult of the Dragon, but left with the Jenks squad, they might not have this resource for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, old Hammurabi over here taking what he pleases.
Lance will look over to Malamar and just be like, I mean, to be fair, you just outright killed the prisoner. I just took his hand. Like, I feel like the reaction to you and the reaction to me was, I feel it's unbalanced here.
Mal just looks back at him without a response and then walks out.
A solemnity from Mal overcoming the room, and as you walk out, Fleeple, you see Balam being escorted out with a bandage on his hand, and Leosin gingerly and awkwardly carrying something in his arms. With your passive perception, you can see it's Balam's hand. You can see all passively without even having to look.
During this time, I've started using my ring of telekinesis to scoop the fig preserves into my mouth for me. I stop with one of the globs of jam, like, between my big old chompers, and I see the hand that Leosin is carrying, and I just put it back in the jar and screw the lid back on.
Like, okay, we're done for today.
I'm going to have such a bad sugar crash later.
So, with that, we will call the first Council of Waterdeep officially over with the interrogation after the council finished as well. And with that, we will get the Jank Squad ready for their journey up north to the Drakhorn. So, there are some preparations to be had here. Certain things that we want to make sure get done, certain things that the council wants to make sure they give to you. What in particular does the Jank Squad need? What do they need to get done in Waterdeep? Then we'll get to what the council wishes to give to you, including information, including necessary supplies, things like that.
Does the council wish to give me a potion of longevity?
Oh my gosh.
No, but as you go back to the illusory illusion.
Oh, yes, Fleeple. I understand that you've been wanting a potion of longevity mainly because of your repeated askings and constant missives that you've been sending to me every other day at the very least. So I have some news regarding that. Well, I may be able to procure one. I don't have one yet, but I may be able to procure one if in a month's time. You see, I have been able to track down a lord and lady far from Waterdeep, and I've gone outside of my normal circle here for you, and I've been able to uncover one that was secretly told to me. Again, nobles don't like to admit that they use potions of longevity. They're not as open as you are about their desire for it. And, well, in a month's time, I believe I can have it come here. It's just the cost would be... If the cost and the price were right, I will be paying some of my funds to ensure that the delivery is safe. It will be close to, I think we were able to negotiate 9,000 gold pieces for the potion itself.
That's a big number. It's a big number.
Yes, but... eternal youth, so to speak.
Yes. Well, who knows? I'm going to go kill some dragons, so maybe I'll be able to get some gems from the Horde.
Excellent. And you know what? We may be able to work out a deal where if you come up with any magical artifacts, and we might be able to trade as well, for maybe a little bit more than the face value here. Things that I might find valuable, I would then be willing to spend more of my own coin for the potion of longevity for that exchange we have. So, nothing's off the table here.
Yes,
as long as it's worth my time and your time, if you get what I'm saying.
I have a friend who's very skilled at removing teeth and scales and whatnot from dragons, so I think maybe we can get you some resources.
Oh, dear me, now that would be quite valuable indeed. Yes, claws, scales. Scales not so much. I mean, scales are kind of like a dime a dozen since they get... but with the teeth and the claws, and it may sound a little grotesque, but even the eyes of a dragon, if you can get one intact with it, not fully punctured, that might be very useful.
Yes. Well, I'll have my people stay in touch with your people.
Yes, and your people being yourself and my people being me.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a great idea. Okay, wonderful. We're on the same page there.
Yes, can I get your sending stone number real quick?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, well, I'm afraid. I don't really like to give that out to just anybody, so I'm going to hold that one close to the chest.
No worries, that's all right.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I am going to go into the back now.
And he awkwardly goes over to a customer and not wanting to give you his personal cell number.
Stone number.
I usually only communicate over Discord.
And I reach into my bag and I whisper into the worm box,
We're so close.
and then I just put it back in my bag and go to meet back up with my friends.
Fleeple, go make an Arcana check.
Ooh, with advantage because of my awesome tattoo. That's
You're never using that tattoo, are you?
Nope, that's a natural 20.
Natural 20?
Yes, for a total of 24.
This worm box smells really bad.
Oh, yeah.
You don't say.
But you could swear you feel something magical from it.
I'm going to use a ritual of mistletoe to cast Detect Magic on this box.
Okay. It's strange. It's like you do feel something magical from this box, but you've been around with this box for a while. Like, why haven't you felt it before? It's just, I mean, sure, it's a loose box inside your bag, and it might have been jostled around a little bit here and there as you keep pulling it out, but you feel something magical from this box. And as you turn it over on the underneath, you see just the box itself, that there's like this metal plate with like an ornamentation on it covering a part of the bottom of the box, and you feel magic coming from that because this metal plate has slightly been jostled out of alignment. And as you look through there, you see an item underneath the metal plate.
I'm going to pry my claws into that little crack and just dig my way in there.
All right. With enough time, you don't want to smash this box, right? Do you want to preserve this box?
Yeah, the box is precious to me. I just want to find what is precious inside the box.
You think this is going to get rid of the box, Thomas? It's not. The box is keeping it staying.
Yeah, you can bring up all the shenanigans you want, but Wormbox is getting buried with Fleeple.
Sounds good. As you pry this metal plate off, with being as delicate as you can with your claws, there is a very small gemstone that you sense magic coming off of it. And as you pick it up, you understand that this is magical. In fact, it has a feeling of abjuration coming off of this gemstone.
For a second, I think to myself,
Could this stone be what's preventing this worm from coming back to life and fulfilling its true purpose?
and I remove the stone from the box.
Yes. And if you spend some time with it, you will find out that it is an Ioun stone.
Mm-hmm.
An Ioun stone of protection.
Hey, I like that.
Which that will give you a +1 bonus to AC while this Dusty Rose prism orbits your head.
That is pretty nice.
Pretty nice. So it requires attunement.
So, yeah, does that mean Ring of Telekinesis is so nice.
Yeah, and I know attunement slots we are running low on, at least for Fleeple here. So.
Yeah.
I'm out of them, but I think Lance has one.
I'm not attuned to anything.
Yeah.
Everything's just put on and go.
You know what? Actually, Lance gets into the melee a lot more often than Fleeple does.
Lance Thalen, the worm giveth. It has taken nothing away from us. It has given us this wonderful... Yes, that's from the book of scripture of Bahamut.
Well,
the
I'm
great worm
just
Bahamut
imagining you like
giveth.
left it on a table with a note. And I'm just like, what the crap is he talking about?
Bahamut giveth and he taketh not away. The great worm, but different worm, has given us this.
And I hold out the Stone of Protection to Lance.
There you go.
Thank you, Fleeple. Where did it come from?
The worm box.
Okay, where did it really come from?
Where did it really come from?
And I turn aside and scowl, and I say, I knew they wouldn't believe me. I bought it from the Illusory Illusion.
That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Okay.
I knew they wouldn't believe me.
I knew they wouldn't believe me. A stone of protection.
Yes, an
Ioun stone of protection.
Oh, an Ioun stone of protection. Sorry.
Yes, that'll give you a +1 to your AC while you are attuned to it.
And it orbits around your head while it does it.
Yeah, that's the only downside. Visually, you have a Ioun stone orbiting around your head. Mal technically also has a Ioun stone orbiting her head always as well, so...
I mean, I've already got
in battle.
this sick giant tattoo, so I don't need any more head ornamentation.
There you go.
got this sick giant tattoo, man.
Oh man, it just occurred to me sort of the cultural dissonance of a draconic kobold with a giant rune tattooed on his forehead.
Yeah, and it's large. I mean, it covers the forehead. It's almost like extended past the forehead, like vertically, of Fleeple here. So yeah, all of you have things on your head, orbiting around your head. Just normal adventurer stuff.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I just realized I do have one thing attuned to me. My bracers of flying daggers, so that's my second thing then.
I thank the worm box for its gift, and I'm good to go.
Hey, maybe it'll keep dishing things out.
Yeah.
Now, Mal, I believe you wanted to get some stuff from somewhere, the Illusory Illusion or what have you, right?
I just needed a little bit of incense because I've used it a couple of times, and then I think as a party we need some healing potions.
Yes, I was going to go get healing potions if no one else was.
Great. So going to the Illusory Illusion, yeah, you can petition to get some healing potions. What kind and how many?
Okay, party fund, I'll let you know, is 7,900 gold.
That's more than I realized.
That's our party fund. And we already have a potion of superior healing in the bag of holding.
Between the party fund and my personal fund, I could buy a potion of longevity.
I have two potions written in my bag here. I have a potion of superior healing and one greater healing potion.
Oh,
Aren't those the same thing?
No, a superior healing is 8d4, greater is 4d4, and a regular is 2d4.
So maybe we get one regular for everybody?
Yeah.
All right. And they have quite a bit of regular. You bought them out last time, so they were like, all right, let's stock back up again. And so they've got actually 5 regular healing potions for $50 a pop. 50 gold pieces a pop.
Do it.
It's $250 right there. And he goes,
Dear me, well, I have to keep pumping things out, so to speak. You keep buying out my stocks. My favorite customers, of course. But how about some of these greater or superior? I do have one superior, which I've had for quite some time. It's a little bit pricier, I will admit, but very hard to come by.
How pricey is pricey?
How much is a superior?
The superior healing potion, it does take some time, and I have had it for quite a while, so I'd be willing to part with it for 1,500 gold pieces.
All right, if we did that, all of the our party fund with that and the 5 regulars, we'd still be at 6,150.
oh my gosh.
Why not?
Because it was 250 for the regulars, and then 150, or 1,500.
Why not?
Let's do it.
We got 5 small healing potions.
Yes, and I'm going to say everyone write down 1 regular healing in your inventory, and I'll keep 2 in the bag of holding. And then I'll just I already have 1 superior healing in my bag.
Well, should Ned and I both have 2 small on us, and then because you have the bag of holding, you keep the superiors and then one of the smalls? Or the greater superior, whatever. You keep the heavy-duty ones in the bag, you get 1, and then Fleeple and I both have 2 in our
Sounds great.
stashes in case we need it.
So yeah, Fleeple and Mal get 2. I'll keep 1 on my person, and then I will take the other superior into the bag.
All right. Sounds good. And how much incense do you need, Mal?
I was just going to get 2 sticks, so 20 gold pieces worth.
Yes, I've been able to condense your needs into just one thing of incense instead of needing to burn 50 sticks, smaller sticks. So this one's just very potent. Just be aware. Probably don't want anybody else in the room when you're burning this, all right?
Thank you. That was very helpful, good sir, who's no longer an illusion.
Yes, no, we're quite real, and it's very good to meet you, good to see you in person, of course. Hope to have you come back again. If of course. But anyway, here are your two massively important incense sticks here.
And they are. The sticks are only 3 inches long, but they are thick.
They are thick.
It's like a roll of quarters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just put it into your hand when you're ready to punch somebody, and you'll have a beer.
Yeah. So, sounds good. Anything else you'd like to buy? Any other weird potions other than a potion of longevity? Anything else you'd like to see in stock before we jump to the Council of Waterdeep to see what they have in mind and what they are going to help you with on your journey?
I mean, now you intrigue me. When you say, well, I mean, there's something. I mean, that's up to you. What do we got?
It's up to you guys. Do you want to keep? Are you like, nope, we're good. Let's keep on going.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, sounds good. Well, as you meet up at the pre-designated area, if you recall, there was a noble, Dala Silmerhelv, who spoke up briefly at the council regarding news about the Dracorn. And the Alliance of Mages, they also had information regarding one of their people who went north. So as you meet up with Dala, she's again very diminutive woman, very put together, but very soft spoken. And as you go to her manor, it is very impressive. It is a very well put together manor. It is in a very wealthy portion of Waterdeep. As you walk in, she goes, "Oh, hello, the Jinx Squad. Yes, Lansdale and Fleeple and Malamara. Yes, please come in. And she, of course, didn't open the door for you, but was was there to greet you as the two butlers that open the wide double doors usher you in. And as you come in, they offer to take your cloaks. They offer to take your animal skins that are across your shoulders, Malamara. In Fleeple, they see that you don't have anything to take, so they just give you a hot towel to pat your scales and your face to just freshen up, so to speak. And as she ushers you into this large room with a table, there are plates of food put out. There are little tiny sandwiches with cucumbers sticking out. There are these towers of sweets and goodies. There is a bowl that seems to be steaming with some sort of concoction in there. And Fleeple, you go over. It's fondue. It's cheese. And a little bit of dipping things that you can dip. And she goes, "Oh yes, please feel free to dig in there. I'm so sorry for the mess, and I apologize for the state of my manor, but we needed to have you come as quickly as possible to give you everything you need on the Dracorn." And you didn't see initially, but there are a couple members from the Alliance of Mages that were from the Council of Waterdeep. They are also here in the room. Some of them have plates, and they drift over to you as they are tidying up and getting ready for this conversation. And Dala goes, "Yes, well, I just wish to impart some of my knowledge to you regarding the Dracorn. I hope I'm not too forward in getting right down to business, if that's all right with everybody."
Works for me.
Mal nods.
Yes, okay. All right, well, as I might have stated earlier, I kind of blacked out in the council, so I wish to just maybe sort of recap here, in case I've left anything out. The Dracorn is a very powerful artifact which calls all of the chromatic dragons to not necessarily a cause, but to a location. And if you are not a dragon, you are unaware of that location. But it hasn't been used for quite some time, and if it's being used now, it is not a good thing, especially to coincide with the cult of the dragon. As I stated previously, I might have mentioned to you that the Dracorn was last known to be north, near the spine of the world. In fact, a little bit further on the Sea of Moving Ice. And Malamara, you know the Sea of Moving Ice. You have seen it from a distance, but you've never traversed it yourself because of how dangerous it is. It is exactly as it sounds, though, as she goes on to describe, and as Mal could describe as well. It's a bunch of icebergs and a bunch of floating pieces of ice that are constantly smashing into each other and are they create this landscape, but everything's always moving, constantly flowing, and it's frigid, it's cold, even colder than the spine of the north. It is almost absolute north of the planet itself. So, the Sea of Moving Ice was the last known location of the Dracorn, and, however, no one can pinpoint its present location from the sound, or even verify with certainty that the relic is still in the Northern Sea, but I do believe the search must start there. Now, this is where the Alliance of Mages, they might be able to assist us with a little bit more of knowledge, but the one person who could tell us more is a tiefling sorcerer named Makath the Crimson, is her name. No one alive knows more about the Dracorn than her, but as I stated, the Arcane Brotherhood, of which she happens to also be a member of, I believe, as I was discussing with them and speaking with them, you haven't seen or heard from her in 3 years, you say? And at that, the main woman who seems to be leading this company from the Alliance of Mages, yes, we have not seen her or heard from her in the past 3 years. She went to the Sea of Moving Ice, and she was letting us know about her progress with a sending spell, and she was constantly checking in, but it was 3 years ago when she stopped checking in, and when we tried to scry upon her, we could not see her location, unfortunately. Just to step in here and give a little bit more of where we're coming from. Makath, she reported, as I mentioned, she reported her progress, but her last report in particular spoke of seeing ice hunters paddling their sealskin boats towards a huge iceberg, flattened like a plateau across its surface, but ringed by icy peaks. She was very excited when she was describing this location to us. Now, she had intended to follow the ice hunters and investigate the iceberg, but after that, no more reports came, unfortunately. Now, as was mentioned earlier, attempts to find Makath using scrying or other magical means located only her ship adrift, which was heavily damaged, and some of the ship's crew were seen deceased, but no sign of her was ever found, unfortunately. Now, we do know that this location, and why Makath was so excited to hear about it, and why she was drawn to it in the first place, well, you have to understand a little bit of the history of the Alliance of the Mages. Some decades back, during the reign of the dragons, the terror of the dragons that swept across the landscape of Faerun, our tower, called Host Tower, it was attacked by dragons very severely, and although we were able to defend and rebuild since then, there were a number of dragons which stole a good number of treasures from our tower itself. One of those dragons goes by the name Orethator, and he's a white dragon who had a particular and keen interest in some of the more magical items that were in our tower. Something that's been a little bit embarrassing for the Alliance of the Mages is he took some quite powerful spell scrolls from us. Spell scrolls that took quite some time to craft, some other artifacts that we believe were of interest to him. But out of dragons, he is... some are only interested in treasure, but some are interested in magic itself as well. And Arathator, it definitely appears to be one of those dragons, or else he wouldn't have been so keenly interested in the attack of Host Tower. Now, Makath, the Crimson, she knew that this iceberg, after talking with the ice hunters and other reports, this iceberg is one of the lairs of Arathator, the dragon himself. So she made the deduction that if she were to find out any more about the Dracorn, she might have to go speak to a dragon himself, and one who was so keenly interested in a magical item, or in magic itself, perhaps Arathator might be a good prospect. Now, as was stated earlier, we don't know if she's still alive, we don't know if she accomplished her goal. All we know is that she was the expert on the Dracorn, and that is where she headed to find out more information, not only about the Dracorn, but about dragons in general. And Dalla, at this point, she pipes in with a very diminutive voice. She goes, yes, which is why I invited the Alliance of Mages to come to share this information, for although I only had the beginning piece, they seem to be able to finish the puzzle. Are any of you going to take part in the refreshments that we have on the table?
Fleeple has definitely been doing that this entire time.
Oh, yes. Good.
Wait, what refreshments? They're all gone.
And when she sees that you actually are partaking, she takes a very visible sigh of relief, and she, a small smile comes across her face, good, yes, great, excellent. I wish to outfit the three of you for taking on this adventure, this leg of the journey. And at that, she claps her hands, and some more butlers, new servants, come in with bundles. And these bundles are very thick furs and very nice clothing to protect against the elements. And Mal, you're like, my stuff is good enough. I should be... Oh, okay. You actually open the pack and you're like, oh gosh, this is really good stuff. She is giving you the best of the best that she could find down here in the Waterdeep when it comes to protecting against the cold. Nothing magical, but very fine quality. In that as well, she has given each of you a set of pythons in climbing gear. She goes, because you never know. And also, just to be sure, for Malamara and Lance Thalen, she has given you the claw shoes that you wear when you go, ice climbing.
Crampons.
Crampons! There we go. She's given you a set of crampons each. She turns to Fleeple apologetically, and she goes, your claws and your feet, I figured you wouldn't need this particular item here, so I apologize.
And my wings.
Yes, and your wings. I totally forgot about that. I didn't even think.
Yes, it's a recurring thing, it seems.
Yes, good. Oh, I'm so glad. If you excuse, she whispers to one of her servants, and she goes, could you bring out some of the finer cheeses, please, to melt down? Thank you very much. And they rush off to the kitchen to see that you are heavily invested in this fondue pot here, and hoping to continue to please as the host. The head of the Alliance of Mages pipes up and goes, yes, of course. As you can see, all of you are very well decked out. The Alliance of Mages are particularly interested in this mission, of course, because we wish to know the whereabouts of Makath the Crimson, or possibly the final resting place of Makath, if possible, and if not alive. However, if you were to follow into her footsteps, we wish to impress upon you how grateful the Alliance of Mages might be if you were to bring back some of these stolen relics that these dragons took from our host tower. And she gets very deliberate in how she speaks at this point. She goes, the Alliance of Mages might be more inclined to assist the Jenk squad in their future endeavors if there were a number of items that were brought back, or at the very least we would be able to release more of our resources to the cause for the Alliance of Waterdeep to assist in fighting the evil of the Cult of the Dragon. If a keen eye were kept when in the iceberg. And she looks at the three of you, and all three of you pick up that she's asking for you to bring back what she feels is the Alliance of Mages property rightfully.
Mm-hmm. Any particular items that she wants us to look out for, or just anything we can find?
Just anything that you can find in particular that would be of interest to an Alliance of Mages and magic users. So if this dragon is really a purveyor of magical arts, there might be additional items that maybe were not owned by the Alliance of Mages, but which could benefit us in some further research or in cementing our relationship, as she gestures to the Jenk squad with herself, to where we might be able to assist one another.
Yes, I can certainly keep my eyes out for that.
Excellent. Yes, I believe so. And I just ask that you do what you can. Obviously, Makath is the number one priority, and we would like any news on her whereabouts, but if you're able, and if the opportunity arises, we would be very grateful for any assistance that can be given to assist us. But yes, I believe if there are no other questions from you, and rather I apologize, we haven't even asked if you have any questions for us. How silly of me. And she opens the floor to you to ask for any clarifying questions at this time.
I just have one quick question. Are we provided with transportation, or are we footing it ourselves?
No, that would be me. Yes, you will be going on the Frost Skimmer, a boat which is very adept at maneuvering the icebergs and the sea of the moving ice up there. So yes, and it has a full complement of 40 crew members that will be assisting you. It's paid for. It's not the most luxurious, I will say, but when it comes to accomplishing your goal, there is no finer vessel.
So we're sailing directly to there, or do we have to meet the skip somewhere?
Oh, no, directly from Waterdeep here. It will take you not too terribly long, just a few days, maybe a week at most, depending on the wind and how treacherous the waters are going up there.
Good to know.
And then we just find this big ol' iceberg, huh?
Yes, of course. The captain, La Rooster Half-Face, he will he's very familiar, although he's never encountered this iceberg. He will be able to help you navigate the waters and keep an eye out for anything unusual, and maybe have a good idea of where to suss this iceberg out. Yes.
I'll be interested to see what his half-face looks like.
Yes, I've never seen him myself, but you'll have to tell me if it's just a fun little name or if he really only has half a face. That would be terrifying. As she looks down at the ground with a troubled face, she's like, oh, that would be pretty grotesque. Anyway, any other questions for Dala or the Alliance of Mages?
Not for me.
Excellent. Malamara, anything from you?
No, I don't think so. Mine was about transportation, but Jake already asked, so.
There you go. And Fleeple, any last minute things other than scarfing some more the fine fondue?
No, I think that about does it for me.
Excellent. So as we all depart here, pleasantries given, Dala giving you a small bag of the items, and she goes, I really won't be able to eat these. They're just going to get thrown out anyway, so I figured might as well pass them along to those who enjoyed it. And Fleeple, you get the majority of it because you're the only one that was eating. And as you go straight to the docks at that point, you come across the Frost Skimmer. The Frost Skimmer is a 60-foot long, light longship with a single sail, but lots of oars to help navigate the ice. There are 40 crew members, as I mentioned previously, and they are all getting ready for departure. And you come across Larusta Half-Face, a human male, and as you walk up to the captain, he's barking out orders.
Get those oars out. We won't need them until we get up north. So get them below. Yes, put them away. Come on, you. I know you're new, but you have to pick up the slack. Are you who we are transporting? And as he turns around, his face is mostly covered by cloth, but he pulls it down for you. And he has a full face technically, but half of his face has severe frostbite. So it is a shocking, and although you were warned about him only having half a face possibly, it is still a shock to see him. He's like, oh, okay. And he goes, yes, well, anybody that I'm transporting, I like to get the mystery out. Yes, I only have, I've got frostbite over here, all right? So take it in, I'll have my cloth up most of the time, and just deal with it, all right?
Well, if you ask me, half face is maybe a little bit diminutive. I'd say you've got 2 faces almost.
Clever guy. I can tell we're gonna really like you on board here.
And I flip a coin that has heads on both sides and walk onto the boat.
He's full of riddles.
Harvey Dent. It's not fair.
Excellent. And as Lance, you come on, and Larusta stops you, Malamar, and goes, I recognize somebody from the north. Yeah, it's good to see another northerner up on the boat. We could use some of your assistance navigating the waters, navigating some of the sea up there. Would you be willing to help out in that way, that capacity? Or what's your specialty, I should say?
Mal looks down at him.
Oh.
And she looms her full height with all of her now bare skins and all of the things that we have. And she just says, I'm so sorry. I'm more from the nomads. I don't really know the sea. I can help as much as you want me to. I mean, navigation, I'm a nomad. I can do that. But the sea isn't really my expertise. As she stumbles on the gangplank and almost falls over.
And as you stumble, you realize that this ship, just being on it, you would have imagined it to be a little bit heavier, or at least more deep in the ocean itself, but it actually feels like, I did describe it as a light long ship, but it does feel lighter than you would have normally thought it would be for a vessel going out on the open sea. And Larusta goes, don't worry about that. We've got plenty of people to navigate the sea, but it looks like you've got some good weapons on you, so that might come in handy if we come across any giant octopi or any other unsavory creatures that we'll see up there. Hopefully we don't run into any ice trolls.
Is that a possibility?
Oh yes, no, we see it all the time.
Great.
Yeah, no, we lost half of our crew on one of the expeditions because we got attacked by 4 giant octopi before we could get onto a piece of land and carry the boat up there. So, and he slaps you on the arm and goes, good to have you on board, because you never know when you're going to need some good muscle. So, all right, well, got to get to it. And as he leaves you standing there, a little slack-jawed of oh my gosh, we could run to a giant octopus. He barks some final orders, and he yells for the boat to be cast off. Now, there's no bottom portion of the ship that you can go down and have quarters. So most of this journey, in fact, all this journey, the 3 of you are going to be on top of the ship, actually. And as you ask some of the people, one person's like, oh yeah, no, we all sleep on the deck just because there's no spots downstairs. So yeah, we just wrap this nice little canopy around us to kind of protect from the cold and the elements, but we're real lucky if we can get onto an iceberg. We can have a fire and things like that, but you get used to it, don't worry about it. 1 week, You'll be pros as one of you gets your first bout of seasickness as you cast off, and Waterdeep diminishes further and further behind.
Would I be able to talk to Malamara for a second? He will just approach her after hearing that kind of awkward conversation between her and the captain. Lance will just kind of approach Malamara and be like, "So I heard you talking to the captain. Are we? I'm showing my ignorance here. Is this anywhere near where you grew up?"
Not specifically. I mean, the spine of the world is pretty long, and the Sea of Moving Ice is on, obviously, the sea. I was much more in the mountain area, but everybody who hunted always took turns to go down and fish. I've never been down there, but I mean, how much different can the sea be from the forest, really? As the boat rocks and she grabs onto the railing.
Quite different, apparently.
Mel feels very uncomfortable being on the ship.
Okay, I just wanted to check. I just wanted to really check on you. How are you doing? It's been a while since you obviously had a big experience in Waterdeep with the dragons and the riders. I just wanted to check on you, and knowing that we're kind of going towards your homeland, but not exactly now. I just wanted to see how you're doing.
It's been a long time since I've been up this north, so I'm actually looking forward to it. The Sea of Moving Ice isn't quite home, but it will still feel like home. So I am excited, but I wanted to check in with you. What you did with Balam's hand was pretty heavy, especially for you.
Yes, I've been told. I'm kind of, looking back, 2020 vision. I'm aware that was a little intense. It's like I talked to you about on the steps of the castle. I hate not seeing things that could harm us, that could trick us, that could disrupt us. I want to keep us safe, and knowing this individual and what they almost did to Fleeple, I needed to guarantee that it couldn't happen again. I know that might seem harsh. I know we've done harsher things, but still, my end goal in all of this, Malamara, is just to keep us safe. And I'm willing to go to some pretty extreme lengths to make sure that's possible.
Well, the spine of the world is not the warmest place in the world. It's a pretty harsh environment, and the people that are there are pretty harsh too. And I don't want you to lose sight of who you are in this journey. This may sound like kind of a weird question, but can I ask, before when you had, the book, you were feeling traces of magic, and it's been a few weeks since you returned it to me. Have you? How's that been?
Well, I haven't had a chance to use it, but I would just assume this, Thomas. Lance still has those abilities.
For now. How long you have them?
Yeah. I haven't had a chance or an opportunity, really, to use them, but in feeling it out, I don't know, this magic thing's weird to me, but in feeling it out, I can sense I have the capacity still. I actually, as a matter of fact, when I took your sword, I technically meant for you to cut off his hand. I didn't know it was going to be a me thing. So that was a little shocking. When you offered me the sword, the feelings and the baggage that comes with these abilities, you feel that all the time. I held that sword. It's there.
I do. But if I'm carrying it, then somebody else doesn't have to. Basically, I want you and Fleeple to be prepared for what we might face up north.
Well, based on your description of them being harsh, it sounds like I'm going to fit right in. But, Maramara, I want you to know that baggage, it's not like matter. It doesn't just transfer to one person or another. Someone else doesn't have to carry it. Sometimes you can just put it down and walk away.
You can tell that comment affected Mal. And she's really pondering that as she's looking out at the waves as we're going along the ocean.
I'll just, like I said, me and Fleeple, we're here for you. Just be aware, we're going to go to some pretty big lengths to make sure you're safe.
Well, it's a good thing that the three of us have each other then, isn't it? And she looks over. Where is Fleeple? On this deck now that we can see everybody, and there's nothing to hide.
Fleeple is walking purposefully towards the edge of the boat, and he's like stretching his shoulders, swinging his arms around, and you see from the tip of his snout, he starts to transform into a reef shark, and right as he reaches the edge, his legs transform into the back flipper, and he just kind of like flops off the side into the water.
It's a power move right there. It's a power move.
It is. Mm-hmm.
If I was one level higher, I'd be able to turn into a giant octopus. Dang it.
Oh, dang it! That would have been so cool. Fleeple becomes the beast we have to slay.
Fleeple becomes a giant octopus. We meet a giant octopus, and then we just stand there and we go, let them fight.
Yes.
Let them fight.
Let them fight.
I don't think I'll ever be able to turn into a sperm whale, but octopus versus octopus is good enough, I suppose.
Oh, boy. All right, on we go.
As this scene starts to fade off, as you all prepare for the next leg of your journey, we are going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
Not before you guys level up.
So Fleeple, you jumped off as a reef shark, but you came back on as a giant octopus.
I've got two wild shapes. I can make it happen.
Oh, my gosh.
There you go.
The shark crests, and then it transforms midway down. And
All right, so what level is this for everybody? Or I guess what level is everybody taking?
I'm taking another level of Druid.
Druid.
Just staying rogue.
Roguey Rogue. How many levels in Rogue is that?
8.
8 levels in Rogue. Very good.
Shouldn't it be
And
9?
Now, where are you going?
9.
Oh, we're at 9.
9.
Sorry.
Yeah,
9.
surprise. Have you been level 7 this entire time?
No, I just had it. I just had it written down. I never changed I didn't change the number yet.
I'll get you.
I am taking my 6th in Barbarian.
6th in Barbarian. All right, sounds good. Well, let's have everybody roll or determine their health points right now. Fleeple, are you rolling?
Fleeple's rolling. That's a 3.
Oh
Oh, man.
7 total, right?
Correct, because I got that good constitution.
All right. And do you get anything else at level 8?
Yes, so one quick thing to note, now that we're all cumulatively level 9, we all boost our proficiency from 3 to 4.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Bang.
That's a big one.
Also, being a combined level 9 full spellcaster, I can now cast 5th level spells, but I can't learn 5th level spells until next level. But I can always upcast Star Platinum, you know what I do. But additionally, I also get an improvement to my wild shape, so now I can turn into CR1 creatures instead of CR1 half. I can also start flying, and I get an ability score improvement, and it's a little lazy, but I'm just going to take luck. I'm going to take the luck feat.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Now we'll have to deal with I mean, we'll have to have luck in
Look
your
forward
party.
to luck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already getting inspiration so much anyway, so it's not going to be too much of a big deal, right?
There you go. There you go. All right, sounds good. All right. Lance, what are you doing for your health?
I am rolling, and I have rolled a natural
Rolling.
1, so I got to re-roll. And the next roll is 7.
Whoa!
Bam.
All right, for a total of how many extra health points then?
I am now at 69. And then my, obviously, proficiency went up, and I also get a new feature on my roguish archetype, which shall be determined later. No, I'm sorry. If you listen to the Crunch Squad that we did on this rogue archetype, this is a skill called Tokens of the Departed. And I won't, if people want to look up the specifics, they can, but I think thematically it'll be fun to see it divulge naturally.
Very good. Very nice. Okay. All right, and Mal, what are you doing for health?
I always take the safe path because as a barbarian, it's nice to get a plus 11 every time I level up. And so I am so close to that magical triple digit hit points. So I'm at 96 currently.
Should have rolled.
And at level 6, a barbarian gets a totem warrior barbarian, gets the aspect of the beast, which combined with my animistic pantheon means that whenever I finish a long rest, I can take on an aspect of a different animal. And the different animals have different abilities. So not only when I rage, I also have an aspect that's just on all the time. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just
Heavens.
Passive?
just happens. It's a passive. I have a passive ability that is just ongoing.
Very good. Well, level 9 going up to the north, going to the lair of a white dragon. That is going to be a ton of fun, and I'm excited to see how it's going to shake out. So, Ned, Jacob, Mickey, thank you, as always, for being players here at iCast Fireball. But listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. Without you, we wouldn't be recording and publishing the content that we are doing. And who knows if we would have kept playing this campaign for as many years as we have. We have a lot of things in our lives. We've got new babies. We've got moving across the country. We've got all sorts of things. And so without you listening and supporting us, you know, we might not have been able to tell this amazing story. So really, honestly, truly, listeners, thank you so much. And if you like what we're doing, please leave us a 5-star review. It lets us know what parts you like. It lets other people know that this is a podcast that they would enjoy by putting it in their recommended feed. If you want to leave something a little bit longer than a review, shoot us an email, icastfireball2020@gmail.com, where you can tell certain parts of the story that you are loving, things that you are incorporating into your own campaign. We would love that interaction so terribly much. So thank you so much for writing in. You can also go to our social media pages at iCastFireball20 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, where you can catch us there and shout us out, or just IM us there as well. Speaking of shouting out, we want to, as always, Improv Tabletop, our sister podcast, they're doing amazing stuff. They're doing wonderful things over there. They are diving in deep into Avatar lore. It's a ton of fun.
Way deep.
Way deep into Avatar lore. I just listened to their most recent episode, and wow! It's a big one. It's a big one. And if you like intricacies in the spirit world and figuring out possible things that in the Avatar verse that haven't been discussed or discovered, go listen to them. It's a ton of fun, and they've got a great non-D&D TTRPG they're going through, Blades in the Dark. It's a ton of fun as well, so don't forget to leave them a 5-star review as well on your way out. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
Let's keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.